What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we are continuing our look through the character cards of the Transformers trading card game by having a look at Flamewar, a character which I've opened 16 packs of this. I know I really need to open a lot more. Don't worry, I'm on it. I've opened 3 of these. That's a lot, ladies and gentlemen. That is a lot. Now, the good news is, because there's no organised play at the moment, it's all casual play. Proxying is good. Yay! But is Flamewar good? Well, I mean, stats-wise, no, Flamewar's not particularly good. But then again, Flamewar's a 5 cost. That is one of the very, very, very cheapest cards in the entire game. There are, in fact, only 3 5-cost cards. They are RC Skilled Warrior, this dude, I say dude, of course, it's, well, I would say lady, but it's more kind of like a robot transformer lady, and Kickback. They are the only ones at the moment that actually cost 5. So at some point in the future, probably fair to assume that you're going to be able to have a 5-character deck. When you can have a 5-character deck, this is going to be awesome. As it stands at the moment, I still actually really like it. Now, in terms of the stats, it's much cheaper than the average, 5 as opposed to 8. So the fact here that you've actually got a health which is 10 rather than the average of 12 is fine, a defense which is 1 rather than the average of 2 is fine, and an attack which is 3 rather than the average of 4 is fine. You're so far below the average cost here that I don't think this is particularly bad. But it's the skills that make me super happy here. In bot mode, you've got tough 1, so you get to flip an extra battle card when defending. And in alt mode here, you've got bold 1. Each of your characters gets bold 1, so you get to flip 1 more battle card when attacking. As far as I'm concerned, right, the fact that you got a 5 cost that can give bold 1 to all of your characters, and you could be having a 4-character deck here, that is pretty spectacular. That alone makes me love this card. So essentially, if we want to be taking advantage of this card, what we really want to be doing is upping the bold or upping the tough. And I know I made a big point that in alt mode, all of your characters get bold. So I should point out that in bot mode, it's all of your characters that get tough. Although, just to be clear, in bot mode, all of your characters have tough automatically. In alt mode, they only have it during the turn or until the end of the turn where you flipped into it. You don't keep it for any longer than that. It's not a constant thing. So what we really want to do is just be maximizing bold and tough, using characters that have bold and tough, using action and upgrade cards that grant bold and tough, because for those of you that are unaware, bold and tough totally stack here. So if we can just keep stacking bold and tough on top of each other for a 5 cost, this is going to be nuts. And you don't even really need this as a huge attacker. You can just use it to boost all of your other characters. Now, whereas some videos, I look at it and I go, right, here are the options. Here's what you need in terms of partners. Here, I don't think it's that straightforward. But because you're so light in terms of cost, I really do think that gives you a wider gambit than most. So maybe you have a look at RC here. RC in bot mode has Pierce equal to her attack. You using bold upping her attack is a very good thing. Now, you do get to repair 1 damage from each of your characters in alt mode, so I suppose that's quite nice. Plus, RC is a 5 cost, meaning you're probably going to be working on a 4-character deck if you go for RC. Chromia, I'm going to be honest, Chromia doesn't really have much synergy, but it's a bike. Yay! What actually really annoys me, even though we've got RC, Chromia and Flamewar as bikes, there are no action or upgrade cards at the moment that help bikes. Now, all of the bikes are specialists, and specialists do have multi-tool, which is quite nice. Multi-tool lets you play an extra upgrade, which is quite nice. And then we've got multi-mission gear, which lets you play an extra action. And then multi-mission gear gives you +1 defense, multi-tool gives you +1 attack. But they're for specialists, not for bikes. We got 3 bikes, We have no extra cards that help bikes, like we do for planes, Dinobots, Insecticons, trucks, cars, etc., which makes me a little bit sad. So I mentioned Chromia, but I don't think that's great. Barrage is a decent option here. In bot mode, you get Bold 2 if you're attacking a damaged enemy. And then in ult mode, one of your characters gets Pierce 2 until the end of the turn. That could be quite nice. Again, we got the bold thing going on here. We could use Bumblebee Brave Warrior here. Now, this is actually the starter deck Bumblebee. I did my video about the starter deck. I told you it's awesome. That has Tough 1 when it's in bot mode, and it has Pierce 1 when it's in ult mode. So again, using Tough and then using Flamewar to increase the amount of Tough that it has. Plus, this is only a 6 cost, making it a very cheap card. Optimus Prime Autobot Leader I quite like here, and again, this is another one of the ones that was in the starter deck. Bold 1 in bot mode, draw a card when you flip into ult mode. So quite frankly, you're still working on the bold here, which is nice. Drawing extra cards is nice, and oh yeah, it's quite a cheap card as well. It's only a 7 cost. Plus, it being Optimus Prime means you get to use Matrix of Leadership, given that it is a leader card, just to help out all of the rest. And remember, if you're playing a 4-character deck and you can then get Matrix of Leadership on there, that's actually really cool, because now you're gaining an advantage for all of your cards, which is awesome. I should mention that Bumblebee Brave Warrior is also a leader here, and it's an Autobot leader just like Optimus Prime, so they can both take advantage of Matrix of Leadership. And actually, Bumblebee can also have Agility of Bumblebee. If it's on Bumblebee and he attacks, draw a card, turning your 6-cost Bumblebee into a little bit of a draw engine as well. I also quite like Optimus Prime Battlefield Legend. Now, this one is a bit more expensive. You are looking at a 13 cost here, meaning it's only going to be a 3-character deck. But in bot mode, you've got that ridiculous ability that lets you play an action you flip while attacking. And then in ult mode, you get to return an action from your scrap pile to your hand. It's one of the best cards in the game. Plus, of course, you do get Matrix of Leadership. Or maybe you go Optimus Prime Freedom Fighter here. That's right, we're mentioning all the primes. Bold 2 when it's in bot mode. And then when you flick into ult mode, you get to repair 1 damage from each of your Autobots. Problem is, this is a 12 cost, which is expensive, and Flamewar isn't an Autobot. So although you've got Bold 2 here, I don't think it is the best option for a partner. And the last one I'm going to mention here is Wheeljack. I like the fact that you've got Bold 3 as long as you have the weapon in your scrap pile. So again, when you add in Flamewar, that's already Bold 4. And then in ult mode, well, you get to draw a card if you upgrade one of your cars, which is unlikely, but then again, you could play it with Bumblebee, and then you get to draw a card when you upgrade Bumblebee. Yay! The point here is that it's such a cheap card, and it works with Bold and Tough, which are quite standard things, that you can put this into a whole variety of decks. When we looked at Sludge, I basically said, right, Sludge is great, play it with Snarl and Grimlock. They are the 3 best Dinobots. That is how you play a Dinobot deck. And that was it. They were the 3. They are the 3 best Dinobots. When we talk about Flamewar here, I spend 5 to 10 minutes going through all the options for partners because it's such a useful card, such a cheap card, that there are so many options. Now, if we really want to just be working on Bold and Tough, which we really do for Flamewar here, Tough, we've got a bunch of options. We've got Combat Training. Now, Combat Training's a fun one. You've got the white icon, which is always good. Flipping an extra couple of cards for attacking or defending. If the upgraded character has a weapon, it gets Bold 1. If it's got an armor, it gets Tough 1. So it's increasing Bold and Tough, just like Flamewar is. We have Improvised Shield here, which I love because it's got the double orange icon, plus it gives you Tough 1. We've got Reinforced Plating, which gives you Tough 2. And then we have Body Armor, which gives you Tough 3. but only when attached to a melee character. So if you want to be rolling with this, do make sure it's a melee character. Obviously, if you're going for tough, you want to be flipping more cards to give yourself a greater chance of going for the blue icons. So if you're going for the blue icons, might I suggest that you play Security Checkpoint and Handheld Blaster, which are the only cards with double blue icons. In terms of bold, we've got Supercharge, which gives you bold free as an action card, which is a bit dumbly good. We have Handheld Blaster, which gives you bold 1 while having the 2 orange pips. We have Flamethrower to give yourself bold 2. And then we've got Power Sword, which gives you bold 3, but only for melee characters. So melee characters do get the extra bold and tough if you play the appropriate upgrades here. And again, you do need to mention the double orange here, them being Improvised Shield and Peace Through Tyranny. If you really want to go bold, there are amazing options, great options, like Grimlock for instance, which gives one of your Dinobots bold 3, Jaws of Steel, which gives one of your Dinobots bold 2, and Dino Chomp, which gives one of your Dinobots bold 5, just as long as you're willing to scrap your hand. Unfortunately, these are all Dinobots cards. And I told you that in a Dinobot deck, we're going Sludge, Snarl, and Grimlock. There ain't no room for Flamewar. Little bit of a shame, but there's not much we can do about it. So what's our conclusion on Flamewar? It's cheap. It helps with bold for all your characters. It helps for tough with all your characters. And it's one of these that doesn't really, at least at the moment, until somebody goes and breaks the card, it doesn't have a best partners, a best character, a best team at the moment. It really is one of those, it's cheap, it can go into a whole bunch of decks, and I suppose the message from me is quite simple. If you find yourself with a spare 5 stars worth of character in your deck, might I suggest considering chucking this in? But for now, chuck in the comment section what you think about this. Go nuts, but do make sure you be nice. Then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where I talk about things. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.